Guten Morgen. We are going to Germany today. We're going to Superbooth in Berlin, which I'm really excited for because I have never been. You may have seen my video on the NAMM show. This is the European version of that. Let's go. I've got about 7.5 hours of driving to do. It is currently 6 a.m. So I'm hoping I can still catch the end of day one. And you might be wondering, if I'm not bringing Juno, why am I even bothering going by car? Many of the German highways have no speed limit whatsoever. I'm driving 190 and this guy is asking me like I'm driving 30. Yes, you can actually drive as fast as you want. And honestly, that's a big reason why I'm driving. I think we've gotten to a place where we can drive as fast as we want. So, let's try this. Okay, not exactly what I hoped for.
Here we are.
But we made it. First stop, SSL with the Big 6 and the Bus Plus, but I think the new Alpha 8 grabs my attention most as it might be the expander my new studio needs. These Harrison channel strips had a cool summing feature that allows you to cascade them and kinda use them like I mix on my mini SSL sidecar. Here's a brand that I've never seen in person before, Zail. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. These were their modular desks, which look pretty promising. Klanghabitat is a German brand that released their tube saturation units. They told me some people complained about their look, but hey, getting haters just means you're doing something right. I found some new stuff, I think.
New stuff.
Fine. What do you have for us?
The cleanest, fastest compressor limiter in existence that has a multi-band saturation circuit strapped to it, so it's the ultimate compressor. How about that?
The ultimate compressor.
Well, I'll let you decide that, Thomas, but...
Okay. We're obviously at Cranbourne Audio. You all know this, because I've got this already and I'm super stoked. Well, what's this?
All right, Tom. So, I know you love compressors and you use different compressors and stuff like that. So, back in my recording days too, we had racks of outboard. So we had 1176s, we had LA2As, we had highs, we had GML 8900s. We had all the best of the best, you know what I mean? But you know how much these things cost. We wanted to make the cleanest, fastest compressor in existence.
Right.
So we did that. And that's using PWM technology, so pulse width modulation.
Yeah.
So PWM is the most controllable gain element in existence.
Yeah.
So whereas like an opto is it's a opto cell.
Yeah.
It's a freaking light, a FET compressor, it's a FET, which FET have artifacts and limitations.
Yeah.
A Varimu compressor, it's a tube, right, with all the non-linearities that tubes have. All those beautiful compressors, their tone is like a happy accident of the compression element. All these amazing gear makers made the best thing they could make at the time, but then the things that they couldn't adjust became the sound of those units.
With the design came amazing compression, but also
these artifacts, which some were good, some were not so good. You minimize the bad artifacts by slowing it down, because if you go too fast, it has those artifacts. Or it's 2025. We don't have to use tubes. We have perfect components that are dead clean, but then they don't have the vibe of a tube, But we can add the vibe with our knowledge of saturation. You have a Carnaby, so you know what we can do with saturation. The Camden is preamp focused saturation. The Carnaby is throw the rules out of saturation. Just what can we do with saturation? We made a harmonic EQ, so it's not like anything, right? The Brick Lane 500 is dynamics focused saturation. So it's the sort of saturation you would get with vintage compressors, but tunable, multi-band, and variable.
Okay, so also you can also make it really clean.
Bypass it, it's the cleanest compressor in existence. 306% THD at 20 dB gain reduction. When I first tested the Brick Lane, when we first got the prototype, I thought it was broken, because I was pinging it and I didn't hear anything. It just sounded like it was lower. And I'm like, Ed, what's going on here? Is this is the volume dipping? He's like, no, it's compressing. I'm like, what do you mean it's compressing? I don't hear anything, it's just lower. He's like, yeah, because it's a perfect compressor. It doesn't have any artifacts, zero. PWM is a really awesome technology. It's really hard to make a PWM compressor. It's very complicated. 2 years ago, we're always looking at new components that are coming out. This new chip came out. As soon as it came out, Ed goes, that's the perfect chip to do a PWM,
Yeah.
a compressor. So that's what we did.
But it's still an analog compressor, or is it digital?
100% analog. All the signal processing is analog.
Okay.
So it's digitally controlled,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of the PWM, right? Because the PWM has this ultimate control,
Right.
we can control it digitally,
Yeah.
and it turns into analog.
Cool. And there's multiple modes on there?
We have 6 modes, Thomas. So
6 modes.
yeah, you got velvet, float,
Yeah.
smash, tame, glue, and polish. And then polish has 2 different modes. It has white polish and blue polish, which are just like 2 different kind of limiting modes. So velvet's like a Varamuse style compressor. So like, Fairchild, Style Leveler,
Yeah.
RS124, that sort of compressor.
Nice.
Float, classic opto compressor, with the high-end emphasis and all that kind of stuff. Smash, Smash. Everybody knows the good old. Everybody loves the Smash.
Nice.
Glue is bus compression, and then the stress circuit on the bus compression is like transformers on the mix bus.
Right.
So it gets this like big, nice, weighty depth to it.
But are there transformers in the unit, or
Nope,
is it
it's all done with our saturation circuit.
Oh, nice.
Analog saturation circuit.
Is that also why you can keep them in like the single unit 500?
Yeah, because transformers like this big,
because-
and they cost loads of money too. Transformers, Whereas like diodes and capacitors and these sorts of things,
Yeah.
a cent, 2 cents. Whereas a transformer can be $60, $70.
Yeah.
Because it's like iron with copper. It's like expensive
Right.
stuff.
So what's the price?
€7.99.
Wow. Eve released these new monitors that look like they were inspired by the Event Opel speakers. I don't know if that's an insult. I'm sorry if it is. Here's a new audio brand, at least to me. They've made a limited unit specifically for Dutch people like me. For those that don't know, orange is our color. I messed around with this EQ and honestly I am very impressed. Great build quality, and from what I could tell, they sounded pretty smooth. Another very interesting unit is this Lieutenant by GainLab. It is not only a monitor controller, but it also has power switching on the control unit, so you can actually turn on your entire studio in sequence from that unit. When I get back from Berlin, I'm going to build the studio in Amsterdam, and I'm going to need what this man has got.
I didn't understand you, sorry. What did you say?
I see that my friends over at Session Desk have made something that looks really cool.
Thank you very much.
What is it?
Yeah, it's the Session Blocks. It's a broadband acoustic module. And it came to solve at least all problems. So it's a system that you can use the classical way to treat your room, but you can also build rooms out of it. You can build gobos, you can build vocal boosters, you can build an entire control room, and you always treat your room with this.
Because I saw this at NAMM where you actually built like an entire booth.
Exactly.
As a booth, as a soundproof booth.
Yeah.
So that's what you can do. You can stack them and
exactly. So you can really do a pop-up studio if you want to. So we still have at the moment 60 or 65% absorption at 100 Hertz. We are developing at the moment some add-on to go even lower. So at the moment we are just in developing this, but I brought it for you so you can check them out or we can play with that,
And what are these slots here?
Yeah. For this you need that, and that's the X connector. Okay. So you put them together like this. Then you have the X.
Got the X.
Okay.
Of Session Blocks.
Of the Session Blocks.
Wow, it's branding all over
this
the
is,
place. I
yeah.
like it.
I mean, we can, if you want to, let's just.
Because what I would love to do is like, I like the idea of having panels that I can just stack and then reorganize and then play Tetris with my panels, and then I get very bored very easily.
Yeah.
Also with my room. I do a different setup every week, basically. And I love that this, you can do that with.
I mean, in the end, it's Lego, okay? It's acoustic Lego. Yeah, but if you want to, we can just build something, or let's at least like, I show you how this works to put this together.
Yeah.
If you want to.
So you can put them.
You can put them like this.
Yeah.
And maybe we do that from the top. You just chuck it in. Then this stays out for the next one, okay?
Ah, so this goes in halfway.
Yeah. In this case, they in this direction they go all the way through.
Ah, right.
Okay.
And that's how you secure them together.
Exactly.
And then you can put one sideways on top of it. Would that work?
You can do whatever you want to.
Can I try them out?
You can what?
I have to build a studio next week.
Yeah. you should take them with you. I mean, it's only 3 to play with them, to make your experiences. I'm happy to get your results, you know, and also your ideas. If you say, hey Lars, this works, but why don't you do this? So we are in the development right now. What Session Desk never did was like bringing something which is not ready on a trade show. Okay? I mean, the idea is ready and the product is almost ready, but now we want some feedback from our clients before we make the final thing, you know? So it's also a new way for us how to do that.
Okay, so you guys probably know NAMM. Superbooth is different. Outside of the building we were just in is basically a big camping with tents, and in those tents there's a ton of gear and they are packed with people wanting to try out everything. Here you can see the Korg trailer basically. They're making music with rocks. I like what I'm seeing. That's all I can say. What do you think? Should I get this teenage engineering bus instead of a Porsche for these road trips? Okay, I think we've been outside for long enough. Arturia here did something I thought was really clever. They gave everyone wireless branded headphones, so you got good sound quality and people seem to stick around for a little bit longer. And so did I. I really enjoyed this demo of the new Astrolab synth, by the way. With the new ARA integrations into Pro Tools, you see a lot of brands jump on this. Here's Dynassist, which is a really cool plugin that does manual clip gaining for you. Basically, it's ARA integrated, so it is a super smooth implementation with Pro Tools. Something I definitely need to check out. My friend Tony from KMR Germany brought this Neve console, which I hoped would fit in my budget for the new studio, but unfortunately, even with my discount Thomas 5, sorry, shameless plug, it does not. But hopefully these miniature versions will fit my budget. I heard you stole the... Or am I incriminating you now? That's the flag you put on Mars, I heard.
Literally.
You've got a cool setup over here.
We built this crazy station over there with our, the 3-ways and the 2-way speakers and a full-on Trinnov Nova,
and
6-channel, and an astronaut.
So you've got the Type 20s?
Yeah, those are the Type 20s, and then next to it is something that's...
I've got those.
Yeah, you got those too, but this is the new stuff. Like it's kind of looks like the MK2, but if you look closer, you see that's a slightly different concept.
Yeah.
This is a fully kind of purest analog version of the MK2 Type 5.
Okay.
And we're kind of leaking them with friends. You would see them like with the Rupert Neve guys. You would see them with Army and SPL and like some of the close friends.
With prototype on there.
And so you see, you have to handle those with curiosity. And if you want to learn more, you can scan the code. But long story short, they're coming out in the next week, and we're very excited about it.
Awesome. So I'm trying them out.
Yeah.
And then I'll let you know.
It's all about your verdict. We're not going to put out the series if you're not happy with it. So.
Oh shit! There's a lot of pressure on me. Great. So you've got. They're called A-Core.
Yeah, they're called A-Core.
It's very simplified because the Mark IIs have a lot of stuff on the back.
Yeah, so the whole kind of story behind this that we've been developing and refining components over the last 10 years, and then actually way beyond that when we were still behind the Atom Audio brand. And these components make up for the sound that the Hedd speakers are known for, right? So there's a lot of like refinement tools in these MK2s that are great for people who want to embrace the complexity of this. But then there's also people who just want like, engineers, producers, home studio people that just want like a plug and play speaker that sounds just excellent, right?
Yeah.
So long story short, the A-cores are all about using the exact same components than our premium products.
Yeah.
Everything is the same hand assembled tweeters, same cabinets, same woofers, all of this, same amplification, but we're taking out the DSP.
And with that, are you also able to drop the price a bit? Because you don't have the cheapest 5-inch monitor with the MK2?
Absolutely, yeah. Basically, so the DSP adds a lot of cost to our product line. That's normal. And with the A-cores, we're getting the prices down by roughly 30%. So something like that would end up costing $599 per unit. And there will be a Type 7 A-core as well coming out, which will be then $699.
You teamed up with Trinnov as well. So we gotta check out some Trinnov stuff in a second. And
Yeah,
Curious
Nova.
to see.
Check out the Nova. It's an incredible product. Yeah.
I'm setting up a new studio this week actually, and then at some point when my acoustics are ready, I might need to take a look at something you have over here. So, can you quickly introduce us to what this is?
So Nova is the latest evolution of Trinnov products.
Yeah.
So I would call it le maxi best of. It's like everything good that we've done in the past 20 years around sound, we put in this little lovely box. I would say in the new world, it has no fan, it has no PC. It's a one unit rack, which is light and very transportable. We made it for producers and mixers to be on the go as well. It's a complete system with the microphone, or own special microphone that we are kind of famous for because of its look, of course, but it's not just a look. Like the way it looks has a reason in terms of sound and the things we do. The system also comes with this lovely little thing called La Remote, which is the monitor controller section of the unit.
Yeah.
So it's basically a measurement system, acoustic measurement system, a room correction speaker optimizer, a monitor controller, but also a highly capable DAC and Dante interface. And inside, of course, there is the optimizer, which is Trinnov own room correction system that we've been developing for more than 20 years. And it's just not room correction by itself, it's also a lot of acoustic things. Like you will see when you use Nova, there are a normal mode, as we call it, and there is an expert mode where we can go really deep into acoustics and do really interesting things. With La Remote, for example, here, in one touch of a button, I'm able to switch in between sets. So here we could listen to the medium ones with the sub engage. Here it's without. Here are the small ones with the subs and without.
I believe you did something with the outputs. As standard, you get two outputs?
Yes,
and then
so that's a question we get a lot. So basically, the way we build the unit, by the way, everything is made and designed in France. A thing that has been said about Trinnov in the past that we were expensive or elitist. And yeah, we might have been because research takes a lot of funding and effort. You know, that's why a lot of big companies have moved their research and development outside of Europe because of the taxes and many other things. So we have kept that. So in the past, the units you've tried was a bit more expensive also because we were offering 4 or 6 channel of processing by default, which we need to pay for because it's our R&D that goes in there. You know, it's a cost to us. So in the past, people were paying the extra price sometimes for channels they wouldn't use. So they will only use 2 channels, but they would have paid for 6. So what we decided with Nova is that we said we're gonna make it much more affordable, but with only 2 channels because sometimes that's all people need. And if you are using a second set of monitors or if you are using 1 or 2 subwoofers, we offer you to buy extra licenses for it. The amazing thing about Nova, I would say, is that for new people that coming into the brand, instead of paying 5,000 or 6,000 euros to get in, now you can get it under 4.
the first time I heard about it, to be honest, I went like, come on guys, you're really doing that? I just bought something and then if I need to use more outputs, I need to pay more. But then I started thinking about it and it was like, if I only use 2 channels, I started seeing it as a discount because I'm not using everything and because one person is buying it with just the 2 channels and someone else is buying it for 6 channels. Together we average out the price and it makes sense for you to make. Right?
It's harder to explain to people because people have no problem paying upgrades when they're hardware and things, but we're a very small company. We cannot build 5 or 6, we could have built 5 or 6 different version of the hardware with but we cannot do this. We have to offer 1 unit to everyone.
With the grandma I used the last time I had Chris from Helios helping us out because otherwise I couldn't have done it. But I believe now,
I think we made a really big step with the new interface on making it accessible to people. Like first, there is a wizard step-by-step guide. So when you get the unit out of the box, you can do the calibration and tune your room, tune the speakers to your room, and adjust all the monitor controller thing in a fairly easy way compared to what it was before. And everything else like that comes into tailoring it even more to your system. We made it so much more easier with the new software. You can make the product as amazing as you want in the lab, but you know, it's in the field that it develops
it's
itself.
life.
And we take this, you know, it's a back and forth with the community of users to make it the best possible.
Does Dante come standard on the unit?
Dante comes standard with the unit. Yes, Nova optimize up to 6 channels, but everything else in the DAC, meaning the 6 analogs in, 6 analogs out, SPDIF, optical, AES, and the Dante with the 16 ins and out of the Dante are completely open. There's a few really cool updates coming onto Nova.
Yeah.
And there will be one around this, around the patch bay, mixer. We're still working on the talkback and other things, but I think those things will come together. And for acoustics itself, watch for Nova this year. There will be a very, very, very cool update, which I cannot talk about yet directly, but
I heard something. I heard a sneak peek I'm not allowed to talk about, but I'm very, very excited about what's to come for you guys.
Okay, so you weren't kidding. You weren't kidding. I can actually take them with me, and okay, I'll bring my polo. I hope it's going to fit, but it will fit. Okay. Well,
I'm excited on your results. You're the first one playing this section.
Wow.
okay, so
Open your fucking car.
will it fit? Can we play Tetris? We'll find out.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, actually fits.
Is it going?
Nice.
All right, that was a very successful trip. I've got about 3.5 hours more driving to do until I'm home. And then I can finally try out these panels I've got in the back. Special shout out to Session Desk, to Lars, for letting me try these panels. I'm about to set them up in my home studio and then do some measurements, do some listening, and see if these are the panels for the new studio. And then hopefully they are, and I can build some cool Tetris block designs and have some fun with these panels in the studio. Thank you for watching. If you want to help me grow this channel, please leave a like, leave a comment, tell me where I should go on my next trip or what I should get for the studio. And subscribing is very, very, very appreciated. In addition, if you're looking to pick up some gear, please check out the affiliate links down below in my description. Help yourself to some discount and help me grow the channel and build my dream studio. If you want to see more in-depth content about me building that dream studio and what I do in that dream studio, you can click the join button down below, and that will get you to the virtual internship, where you'll find mix breakdowns, recording walkthroughs, all the ins and outs of building the studio. And on top of that, you'll gain access to an exclusive WhatsApp group with only the virtual internship members, where we can talk about anything we want. So if you need help with anything studio related, mixing, recording, production related, you have that group. And honestly, I've rolled that out a couple of months ago, and I'm so excited to have that, because it is something that I wish I had when I was starting out. And I sincerely hope that helps you a lot in growing your skills and your music business. Okay, that's it for this road trip video. I'll see you in the studio. Later.